Sanbonani Makaya, we are back again with another exciting episode of GDE On Point. My name is Veronica Sikiti. We recently held an interview with the Chief Education Specialist from the Reorganisation of Schools Directorate. Have you heard about our Schools of Specialisation? Do you want to know more about our multi-certification program? Watch this interview to find out more.
Good afternoon. I'm Caroline Raphael. I am a Chief Education Specialist in the Office of the DDG for Curriculum. I head the Reorganisation of Schools unit, and this unit is mandated to implement the programs that fall under ROS. ROS is short for Reorganisation of Schools. So we have the twinning program, we have our Schools of Specialisation, and we also have our multi-certification program. So the mandate is to implement, the mandate we implement is to launch, by the end of 2024, we need to have launched 35 schools of specialization. So to date, we've launched 21 schools. In this year, 2023, we are going to launch 14 more schools. These schools of specialization are within each of the five developmental economic development corridors of Gauteng. Okay. In the south, we have our hydro area because that is where the Vaal River is. In the east, that is where we have our aeronauticals, we've got manufacturing, we've got transport and logistics. In the west is where we have mainly our agro processes, and we also have our heritage, the cradle of humankind, and all those heritage areas are there. And in the central region, we have the financial part. So this is where we know that the finance sits in Johannesburg, finances of the country. So that is it. And we also have our hospitalities. So the schools must have one of 5 disciplines that we have. We've got our math, science, and ICT. We've got engineering. We've got commerce and entrepreneurship. We've got the performing and creative arts schools. And we also have our sports schools. So this is looking at it holistically, so that every aspect is covered, but these are different schools. So what happens if, for example, we have a school in Pretoria that is an engineering school? Their focus would be, for example, on the automotive, because they're near Rosslyn, which is the automotive hub in Gauteng. But the same engineering school, if we have one, for example, in the east, they would then focus on aviation, so that the focus is different. So the specialization, the discipline is the same, but the focus depends on the location of the school. So we have these schools, as I said, in all economic development corridors for Gauteng, but we also have them in districts. So districts have these schools, and they need to be pushing the mandate in terms of establishing these schools. Now, what we want, if you look at entrepreneurship, for example, although we have a school for commerce and entrepreneurship, we actually want all schools to do entrepreneurship. That is one of the reasons why we also then introduced the multi-certification program. The multi-certification program initially was only for schools of specialization, but we were then told to roll it out to all schools in Gauteng, and that is when the skills then increased. For example, we basically looked at the technical skills for the high schools and entrepreneurship right across the board, with coding and robotics. But then now we've got swimming, for example, for our grade 1s to grade 3s. So these are learners from the township disadvantaged areas who now have the opportunity to learn to swim through this program. And this program has actually done well. It has covered over 168,000 learners. So these learners need to be certificated. We prefer that it be an accredited certification, but some we cannot do that. If a learner, for example, has done plumbing, they might not have done enough modules to get an accreditation, but that is something that they would then work towards in terms of the time that they are in school. So when they leave, for example, a child must be able to go and do plumbing. But in our schools of specialization, we also want partners. we have what we call a big partner. So the partner would basically be the main partner in the school, and they would then look at issues of your staff development, learner development, but they also need to start their pipeline in these schools, so that, for example, at the end of grade 12, they would then be able to decide, does the learner go to university, does the learner go to a technical institution, or do they go straight into the company to work there? So these are the opportunities that we are getting for these learners. And this is a flagship program, especially within Gauteng, within South Africa, because we are implementing this program differently from the way the department, the basic education department, is implementing the focus schools. So ours is a different model, and other provinces are actually learning from us as much as we try to learn from other provinces, but ours is so different from the way DBE has structured theirs. Now in this, the very first school that we launched is our Curtis Nkondo School of Specialisation. That's the only school that has more than one specialisation. They've got engineering, they've got commerce and entrepreneurship, and they've got the math, science and ICT. And this school started in 2016 with grade 8s and 9s, and they're the ones who phased in the specialisation. And after grade 10, the first grade 12s from that school actually achieved over 90%. And that has been the trend, because this is what these schools, they need to be schools of excellence. They need to be excellent in terms of curriculum. They need to have a strong SMT. They need to have excellent teachers, and they need to have an SGB that can really market them as schools, because they would also then be able to assist even in implementing multi-certification programs, although the multi-certification program is implemented from head office, from the different line functions. So they would then, for example, first aid goes to school sports and school safety. Swimming would also go to the education support. So all these programs have somewhere that they lie within the department. But just to say on that is the last note, the other school that basically is flagship, it's Gauteng Engineering School of Specialisation. They have actually looked at transport, manufacturing and logistics and implemented it in a very creative way. The other school that is also on top is Soshanguve Engineering School of Specialisation. BMW is working with that school. Every 3 years, the school gets a new BMW X3. Every 3 years. Who's going to give you that for free? So it is decommissioned so that you can't move it, but the learners are able to work on the engine. So that is how we have our learners being up to speed with the new developments in the automotive industry. These learners built a solar-powered train that has earned them accolades right across Gauteng and South Africa. And these learners would actually be going to California in this year with their the train that they have built. The principal a few months ago was in Dubai to present the program there. So these are the skills that we want our learners to have. But this one, I know it's in the past, but I need to say this one. We have a learner who was in grade 9 at Curtis Nkondo, and we had a career expo, and we asked her just to then be the program director. She did it. When the school had visitors from Canada, they made her the program director. This learner was flown to Spain to be program director for that company's conference. A learner from Soweto, going all the way there. So there are other opportunities that we are opening for our learners. We had 2 learners from Pelindaba who went to Russia with Nexa. Nexa is their partner. They were taken to Russia into the winter school, the summer school there. So these learners were able to meet learners from different countries, European countries and South African and African countries. So these are the things, because we're saying our learners need to be exposed to this. There was a girl learner, also a girl learner from Rhodesfield that the MEC took, and she was program director at the Teacher Awards. That is what he wanted. And this is it, because now the learners are exposed, the companies see these learners, and they see what opportunities they can give these learners. And that is what we want with this with the SOS and with the multi-certification.
Meetla ya setjhaba. The 2023 NSC October-November examination full-time and part-time registration closing date has been extended to the 31st of March 2023. To register, please visit your nearest GDE district office. We have an upcoming event this weekend. On Sunday, the 2nd of April 2023, the department will celebrate World Autism Day at Pilang Special Needs School in Gauteng. The purpose of this event is to create awareness and educate the public about people living with autism, particularly our learners. Thank you for tuning in. Please follow us on all our social media platforms. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. My name is Veronica Sekiti. This was GDE On Point, and happy Human Rights Month.